Hey guys, WazGamersUp here, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to play Man-at-Arms, otherwise known as MAA, in the game Chivalry Medieval Warfare. So to play Man-at-Arms, the first thing you need to know is his armor is horrible. He is virtually a naked little man running around on the battlefield, because probably a kick can kill you. Well, not a kick, that's a little exaggerated, but he can die from let's say, a broad dagger just from one hit. So his armor is really low. That's one thing you need to keep in mind. But although his armor is really low, his speed is incredible. He is the fastest class in this game, as you can see, and that's what makes playing this class so fun, because you like dodge all the attacks and then you have to strike really fast. But also this factor makes him the hardest class to play, so you also need to keep that in mind. Okay, so now moving on to the primary. I prefer using the swords for MAA because they have reasonable damage, pretty good speed, and then they also have reasonable reach. Now the reason I don't use hatchet and mace is because they tend to slow you down from the weight, and also they don't have too good of reach. Now onto the secondary. You really don't need to use your secondary too often, as you could see. So I just choose the broad dagger because it's the fastest sword in the game. Okay, onto the specials. You never want to use the shields because all they do is slow you down, especially the heater shield. And because of the shield, you won't be able to dodge or run away as effectively as without a shield. Okay, and I suggest that you use the throwing knife or the oil pot. I prefer the oil pot. Although it says it does no damage, it actually does. It's kind of like a medieval Molotov, you could say. So that's usually what I use. And then I sometimes use the throwing knife. So what I usually play is the broadsword, the broad dagger, and the oil pot. And I think I forgot to mention that I prefer the broadsword over all of these because it has reasonable damage, reasonable reach, and pretty high speed, unlike these two. I mean, you could also use the Norse sword, but I still suggest the broadsword. The falcon or falchion, whatever, I don't use it because it has horrible reach. Hey guys, so now we're gonna start giving you guys tips on how to play MAA, and I have my friend Victor Lima Kilo to help us out.
Alright guys, so let's say there's three kinds of strikes. There's an overhead, there's a jab, and there's a swing. Well, with two of those, instead of dodging out of the way using the keys, you can just duck under the swing, which is very helpful. So swing at me real quick. Just like that. And it catches them off guard, and you can pull in a strike if you really want it. There's my tip.
Yeah, but don't forget to actually look down, because if you don't look down, your head's still kind of exposed, as you can see. Okay, so the next tip is always be moving around, keep on dodging your enemy, and never stay cornered, because you can get stuck and then you won't be able to dodge their attack, and then they'll kill you. Also, keep in mind your stamina, because once that runs out, you won't be able to dodge.
Another important feature of the MAA class is dodging by double tapping the movement keys. This is very helpful when someone comes in for a strike. You can get beside them, so come at me real quick. Just like that, except I missed him. But it's very helpful in moving out of the way of attacks. Plus the dodge, which mixes it up.
Okay, so the next tip is, once you run out of stamina, you need to be able to regain it. So, to regain it, you need to be walking, because if you're running, your stamina will not regain, as you could see. And the only way it will regain is just walking. So, let's say you run out of stamina, like this. What you want to do is just kind of walk back, get away from your enemy, and block his attacks. And once you regain your stamina, go in for the kill.
Alright guys, so if you're facing a knight or a vanguard with a heavy two-handed sword, that can be a bad thing, but if you have good moves and you dodge out of the way, that's a big disadvantage for the knight or the vanguard. Once he swings, you really have one hit. If you get hit, you're very likely to be done on the first try. But this is a little tip I like to use, so go ahead and swing. Right when he swings, go forward with a jab. It's very quick and it stops him if he's ever going to do a backhand swing. And that's almost the only way to kill a knight, is just those jabs. Because that's the only way when he's defenseless.
The next tip for you guys is how to attack somebody using a shield. So since you can't get them from the front, what you want to do is use your shield. You want to kind of dodge and then stab them, just like that. And the reason you want to dodge is because it's much faster than running, so they won't have enough time to react to your dodge and getting behind you. Okay.
And also, knights are really slow moving, so really take advantage of that. Don't just kind of dilly around, because that just gives them one more chance to hit you. Alright, so my tip for anyone with a spear, which is annoying anyway, you want to keep your distance because they have such a long range, but you don't want to keep your distance, if that makes sense. You always want to be in close because, you know, their spear's so long, you got to take advantage of that. So go ahead and jab. So just like I said, move out of the way and go back in. But you got to do this quick because they have such a long range, you don't want to stay too vulnerable.
Another tip for you guys is whenever you're facing another MAA, never to flinch, because in the time it takes you to flinch, they can get out of the way and stab you.
Alright guys, and also this broadsword is pretty fast, so you never want to pull out your second-hand weapon because it's just, really, come on.